Ladies and gentlemen, lovers of war, traders of great renown, I, the Strategic Indian, bid you welcome to my channel, where our motto is think, practice thinking. If you like the content, please do not forget to like and subscribe. Also, leave a comment, which will greatly help with the almighty YouTube algorithm. In today's episode, we shall complete the first quadrant of our fully planned city. We will build additional towers to meet raiders head-on, expand animal husbandry, and establish the first permanent farms which will last till the end of time. Let us do a quick recap of what we have already built. We have increased our animal husbandry capabilities and provided haystacks and wells nearby so that we can constantly feed our animals with the minimum amount of walk distance in the winters. We have increased our food drying capacity, as well as making sure that all the animal products such as skins can be processed into dry skins to make bows, which are very powerful units which we will continue to make for a very long time, as well as leather, which will be completely indispensable in building up our sledge supply. In this early age, we will have to ensure that we have enough sleds manually. By placing them manually, later we will automate it from the workshop. We have made sure that we have enough food drying capacity and that our population is present so that we can welcome new immigrants. I always aim to have 2 to 3 houses more than the current population to account for the incoming immigrant population. So we left off last time with this hunting party going out after the mammoth, which is over there. So as soon as I see juicy mammoths, that is really nice. This is some old male or old female. It's orange. So taking this one out will be 4 people will be more than sufficient. We increase now our housing capacity as promised. We continue along the bend and we place 5 houses in the row. The 5th house is turned around, and so these are the 3 houses as you can see. Now let us switch focus and let's start building up our defenses. So either flank is going to be protected by 2 towers, and later on around the workshop we will build in additional towers. We don't need to do it now because we will have enough force projection with just 2 towers on either end plus platforms that we build to drive off early invaders. The point where invaders get very dangerous is not in the Copper Age. It's definitely not in the Neolithic Age, not in the Copper Age. It's in the beginning of the Bronze Age. So once the Bronze Age comes in, that is when we have the lowest purchasing power parity, because all of our goods from the previous era are pretty much worthless. The enemy will come with leather armor, so that we won't even have the ability to produce because we will be saving up our knowledge points. So that is the time when your colony is in the most threat. So at this early stage, we are going to rely on towers. We are going to go out and hunt opportunistically as we are doing now. Aurochs, when you see mammoths, if you are lucky, you get mammoths. In Ancient Warriors, unfortunately, these big elasmotherms are not there, so we can't have them. Those give a lot of meat, but this early we are going to make sure that we have enough farming so that we can build up a huge stock of stored grain which lasts 2 years, and we also have enough animals so that we can carry through once this very vital inflection point of the Bronze Age hits. The Bronze Age beginning is the time of the greatest threat to your colony. Everything comes together. If you have consistently got raiders in the harvesting or the planting season, then really your game can really go crazy and you won't be able to have enough food. But okay, that's for later. We are going to chop down trees strategically so that we can expand our farms. So make sure that you have enough axes. Over here I have 7 axes, which is more than enough for my cavemen to go out and chop. I also ensure that I have enough sledges so that they don't carry these heavy logs. So whenever your cavemen are carrying heavy logs, their morale is lowered. Now, if morale is lowered, they need to go to either a burial mound to pray, which takes time, or to a totem pole, which takes time. And that is downtime which does not get reflected in the workload which you can see on the top right of the screen. So it says 136% currently, but it's not going to be 136 because there are many hidden tasks which are not shown. So for example, recovering morale, that's one. Eating food, that's another. So if they have to go and get water for themselves, that is not shown. If they have to go and change their clothes, that is not shown. So you want to add up 20 to 30% more than what that workload is shown. So if you're at 170%, that means you're already a little bit over or near 200%. So if you are swimming in food like we are doing right now, we have 150 plus food for 32 people. So that's a 5-to-1 ratio. Your people are going to eat 3 to 4 food a year. So we have 5 food. So that's more than enough. So in that case, what you want to do is you bring down the wild fruit collection rate to 0. It's set by default to infinity. You set it down to 0. Because that summer, then they can do other productive things like cut down trees, or they can do small hunting if they so choose. But I try not to do much in summer and make sure that the fall season is ready in time for them to go out and get hunting done. Right. Old Jungle Proverb, make sure you check on your stats of your cavemen. And if you see that they are not doing very well, then you want to run them back to your colony. So here we can see somebody over there who is going to go after the bison. If there are storms, then their morale is also lowered. This particular caveman Karuk is going to the Aurok that we slaughtered, and he's going to do something pretty stupid. He is a bit hungry, so he sits and eats raw meat. That is actually pretty bad because it lowers your morale 10 to 25%, and what you want to have is lower workloads to ensure that they come back to base and they are well fed and they are taking care of themselves basically. And this lowering of morale is bad because then he has to spend time praying at the totem or at the burial mound that we set up, and that is not advisable. But truth be told, that cannot be stopped. The AI is not that smart and it keeps doing nonsense like this. Even if it has a lot of food ready and waiting, enough hearts to stand by, it just keeps on doing this. Always check the amount of raw meat that you have and then build up your food drying capacity. Don't overbuild the food dryers, and there will be of course a lot of backlog. I do recognize that there will be a lot of backlog of them trying to dry food while there is not enough food to be dried. So the first man is sculpture that we are building is going to be built up a bit gradually. Make sure that those humans who are low in health, you put them, or if they went through a fight with hyenas especially, that you put them into caves, your huts, so that they can recover morale. Yeah, I keep saying cavemen because these are not yet cavemen because these are city slickers. This is going to be a great city. The Ozymandian Kingdom is going to be a great city when it's done. It's going to stretch from here to the end of the horizon. We will be clear cutting all of these trees. We will be farming from one end to the other, and it is going to be a massive operation. I'm bringing in I'm removing these farms currently, and I have also destroyed that rock collection and wood collection point. Okay, here it's very important that the first farm which goes in is 3 tiles from the house line, because there is one line for the wooden platform, one line for your walls, and one line for the transport post, which is going to be put against the wall. Try to push it as much to the mountain so that only one tile is wasted. As you can see, one tile didn't fit, and that will ensure that we have the maximum amount of farming done. You can clearly see that our workload is high, but work is still getting done. These houses are going to be removed because if raiders come, then they will take up positions near these houses, and I want them to take up positions near the town. Now, raiders have come in, and they have come in from the part that we didn't want them to come in. So that's from where those houses are getting demolished. So early game, you take strength in numbers, and late games also strength in numbers. Numbers will always win, no matter how many towers and wooden outposts and things you have. It's going to be your strength in numbers. This is pre-industrial age. That is going to make sure that you carry the day. So we are going to ensure that the least number of people die. We are going to pull our cavemen back. Our dogs go in for the charge. So that compels our cavemen to move forward. I don't attack those who went forward to the tower, because the towers are doing work, and that is fantastic. There, we carry the day. So the early game, they really don't have the numbers. We made sure we got the immigrants, and we got in immigrants before the first trader even hit. So that is actually quite fantastic. And yeah, so we have 33 population right now for maybe 7 to 10 raiders who are coming in, and that is easily dealt with at this stage. We did lose one person, but we will be able to put him and bury him with respects. Now, the 5 farming commandments. Do not spread out your farms. Keep your farms as compact as possible. You want to make sure that they can go from one farm to the next as soon as they are done planting. Plant one of every grain crop, including einkorn. Einkorn is the worst crop. I'll get into the strength and weaknesses of every crop, but even that you want to plant, because what the game does is that it will do a roll, and if certain plant is not planted, then it goes on to the next one and applies a probability of getting a disease on that plant. So if by roll it goes to barley, then you are going to have a terrible time, because barley gives 50% extra hay, straw. So you can get problems with your barley harvest. But if it does a roll and einkorn is present, and there is, say, 2 tiles of that terrible crop, it will give a roll probability to einkorn. 75 to 100% of your adults must be equipped with sickles. I try to keep it at 75. That's more than enough, because sickles they cannot fight with, and if they get caught out in the open with the raiders spawning nearby, then those sickles are actually terrible to have on them. We are going to not plant in the winter, so no pulses will be planted. However, I am a bit flexible. It can be that yeah, you can have issues that you need food very drastically, and we might need to plant. But yeah, and of course plant outside the walls, no exceptions. There is a lot of forethought which has been put into this. Your walls are very precious. It takes a long time to make walls. It takes a lot of resources to maintain walls. Your people spread out on wooden platforms, so you are not concentrating your troops at a particular place. So having your crops inside the walls is a terrible idea. It's one of the worst ideas. People who put it on the internet that I put my crops inside the walls and look at me, herder, that's setting up for failure. You don't want to do that. Whenever you see early game animals, you want to go out and manually go for them. Children can domesticate, so leave the adult animals free, because they will despawn after 1 or 2 seasons, or they get hunted by these predatory animals like cave hyenas or bears or wolves or cave lions. So yeah, you get rid of them. But right now we have just finished a nice batch of planting. What do we need to do? We need to cut trees to expand our farming. Trader comes in, we buy always animals, because that's an easy way to expand your flock. So animals and farming, that's it. That is going to give us all the things that are needed. It's going to give us the amount of meat that we need. It's going to give us raw skin, which we can make into dried skins in our skin dryers, which can make us get bows. It can give us a raw skin which can be processed into leathers for sleds. So if you have animals, you are set. So aurochs over here, thank you to our ancestors, and we are going to now go out and get these aurochs. 5 people should be more than enough to take on this. 4 to 5 people are more than enough. So if you can farm, then all the straw that you have will be enough for you to maintain and expand your buildings. The more houses you have, within of course a set limit, you don't want to infinitely build houses because they require a lot of maintenance, and often this maintenance happens when you are busy farming. So you want to have 2 to 3 houses more than what your current population is, and that will be more than enough to entice good number of immigrants. You want to make sure that you have enough totem poles and enough burial mounds so that your population is happy and you are able to attract immigrants. As soon as immigrants come in, that is the strength of your colony. This is pre-industrial age. The more immigrants, the better. Right. So we are going to make sure we push our attacks with the aurochs. No mercy shall be shown. We have plenty of sleds to go out there and just get all the meat that is necessary. We are going to split up our hunting party because the adults are more or less done. We need 2 to 3 people to one-shot these baby aurochs, so you don't want to send your entire hunting team, and the bigger hunting team you send out to the last adult over near our village. Always hit tab and look in the primal eyes. So here we see a great opportunity. We see a woolly mammoth. No, that's a woolly rhino. So that's an extinct species of rhino, and we're going to make sure that enough hunting parties are sent forward. 4 to 5 is still enough at this stage to go after this big juicy chunk of meat, raw skin and bones. That's how I view this. Poor little animal is a mother. It's got a little child nearby. Unfortunately, yeah, here we cannot show mercy. If we don't show mercy to human beings in Attila, there is no point showing mercy to wild animals in Dawn of Man. So we go and make sure that we also kill the youngling of this poor woolly mammoth, so that a fresh one comes and spawns. Always go to the primal vision. If you're playing ancient warriors level of difficulty, if I could, I would play the entire game with the primal vision on. I wouldn't even switch it off. It's just that whenever you switch your speed, game speed, which you have to do, then the primal vision switches off. The game is no longer under development, so that's something that I would actually request for, that I don't want primal vision to be switched off unless I specifically go in and tab out and switch it off myself. That is how important primal vision is. You want to constantly see and look for opportunities. Now we are going to build the mid row of houses. Again, 5 houses in a straight line. As you can see, the first warehouse that is given to you by default is actually telling you where that house is going to be. and we are going to secure the end of that house with 2 towers. That will be enough for raiders at this stage. We have run out of slots. That is how good our production capabilities are. However, we are going to have these new houses, and we are going to put the workshop, which is called a crafter, in the early stage, where it should be, and we're going to dissolve the initially provided crafter, because we will have enough skins to do so. Right. We have low workloads, so I'm thinking a little bit whether I should cut these trees down, but yeah, you want to cut trees down strategically, especially not with the harvest coming up. So hold back if you think that you shouldn't expand too rapidly, because the harvest has to happen. Harvest is really you can't do without. Our storage hut got filled up because we don't have a stone and wood storage point at this stage, but we don't need it. We have plenty of storage capacity, and if you see there is one of some unit, then you can just click it, it throws that unit out, opens up a slot of 10, and then something else can go in. So harvesting season has hit, so we are going to bring in a lot of our straw. And as soon as straw comes in, we will have building capacity. Right now, we don't have any straw, and therefore the last house in the corner is unable to be built. Now, we are going to go for building the first quadrant. We will have enough trees, so there goes the warehouse, and right next to it goes our haystack. So we can provide for animals, which are in the stables right next to them. Now we are going to build 3 mortars. We have already collected enough stone for that, and we're going to build in 3 huts. They form a diamond shape, which is pointing towards your warehouse. Then comes in 2 tanners, which are diagonally pointed, as you can see from the diagram. We're going to put in 2 dryers right next to the mouth of the warehouse, which we are going to take out in the late game. So this is close fit. Nothing else will fit in this. We are going to put in 1 cheese maker, because we have started getting goats which give milk, and we want to preserve all of that milk by turning it to cheese. And there goes our second cheese maker. The philosophy, and we are going to also put in outfitter, because I want to change this wool, which has got a value of 5 on the market, into wool cloth, which has got a value of 7. So with a little bit of work, I'm going to increase the value of a resource by 2, giving me higher purchasing power parity. I'm going to increase my stables, because we have animals being captured. We will buy animals, and we are going to put in 1 well so that we can drink our animals during the winter season. So that is the first quadrant completed. A lot of building to be done over here, so we will have enough straw. We have collected 60 straw, which is more than enough to feed the animals, build the buildings that we are aiming for. What we will actually need are, of course, wood. Whenever a storage unit is complete, a storage hut is complete, make sure you go in there and click out auto collection of food in that building, because food in granaries lasts 2.5 times, and over here things will last 2 times as longer. So you want to make sure all your food are in granaries. Later we'll have straddle granaries, which even increases higher the amount of storage of your foodstuffs. So if we later on build a lot of fruit trees or a lot of animals, we will be able to keep that dried meat for close to a year. We're going to expand the amount of time all of this meat is going to be preserved, which is going to ensure our food security. Immigrants came in, 3 immigrants. Okay, so 3 to 5 immigrants I view as as good. 5 is actually excellent. And anything if you get 6, this early stage you do not get 6, so 5 is the max that you get. If you are getting 1 immigrant, that means you're not doing a good job. So in the late game you will see that we are going to get 1 immigrant, but we will have quite a lot of population which will be able to sustain and give birth to a lot of children, and in that manner it will be making sure that our population grows. So this early stage we actually rely a lot on immigrants. So we have 3 immigrants, that's moderately okay, and we should be happy with that. Trader comes in, let's have a look what he brings. Straw, we definitely buy. All the food you want to get off of his hands and animals, because what you have is as soon as you have a higher ratio of food to the number of your total population, that is going to entice a larger number of immigrants the next time. So the more food secure you are, the higher number of immigrants you get. The lower your workloads have been the previous year, the more more immigrants you come. Try to get immigrants every time the trader comes. So till now, every time the trader has come, we have had 3 to 5 immigrants come in. So just make sure that whenever there are immigrants who have come in, you do see that the trader comes in quite near to them. That ensures that you have gotten immigrants as soon as your trader has hit. Right. We have comfortably farmed everything, so that shows that yeah, this is a very optimal work set that we have. Let us go in and watch the village. So this is one of the stables being built. Trees are being chopped down very nicely and serenely. Our children are standing around and having quite a lot of nice time because we have enough stakes, we have enough of flint. There, you can see how close all the buildings are. So the philosophy that I have used, I've spent a lot of hours cranking this, so I keep on iterating. I even now go in and change little bits of things. So for example, once we have these dryers, they are going to be utilized in the craft. So you are going to dry something in those screen dryers that is going to be stored in the warehouse, which is right next to it. One tile away from your warehouse where that screen dryer is where you are going to build the bow, which requires 1 stick and 1 dry side. Now we will initially have our sticks kept inside this warehouse, which increases efficiency even higher. Later on, we are going to have dedicated store areas for sticks and logs, and that increases the walk distance slightly, but we are going to put 1 crafter right next to the storage area so that it can go and build whatever it wants to build. So we are going to make the walking distance minimum, which will reduce sprawl, and it is going to increase our efficiency. The animals are kept in stables which are surrounded by haystacks and wells, so that they can constantly take care of the animals during the winter season. We are now going to go and place totem poles. So there is a totem pole I can put in front of the cheese factory, but that depends on you. If you don't want to put one over there and you think it looks better without it, don't. You have plenty of totem poles and empty spaces to put totem poles. Do not put totem poles in places where you would completely stop traffic and make them go around. So you don't want to put a totem pole between where your crafter is and your houses, because then that entire lane is going to be jam-packed by this totem pole standing there. So that's 1 tile which is going to completely stop all flow. What you want to do in that row, you want to build up towers, because towers they can walk under, but you don't want to build buildings over there which is going to completely stop human traffic by virtue of being present. Now we are going to build the spin wheel of warehouses to collect and or store all of this gigantic number of things that we want to build. We are also going to start building on the side of the warehouse, which you can see is placed completely mirroring what we have on the right hand side. So try to mirror, and that will be what you go for. The whole thing will be quite symmetrical. There will be points of asymmetry, but at this stage you want to keep it symmetrical. Let's do a recap of what we have built today. The entire first quadrant is now completed. We are going to put in flags as and where we have spaces. We have built towers on either side, which is going to protect our colony. We have built enough stables so that we can increase our animal husbandry. We are going to build all of the warehouses. Our animals are going to be well taken care of. All animal products such as raw skin and meat are going to be sent to skin dryers and tanners and food dryers respectively. We have ensured that we have all morale recovering buildings built. For example, burial mounds outside of the city. Right now we won't be able to put them inside the city, and we have also built requisite number of totem poles, which is going to be fantastic. We have also expanded towards the midsection, where we have built up housing capacity and we have protected it with towers. I hope you are enjoying this well-planned first planned city of mankind. Please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you back for more. Thank you for watching. This has been the Strategic Indian, signing out.